Hey folks, Mr. Justin here with Secret Weapon Miniatures and another 2-minute tutorial for you. This time I've had a lot of requests to talk about the brass etch razor wire. I have a sheet here, one of my very well loved sheets. I used a lot of this in my work. In this case what I have done is taken the Krylon Camo Ultra Flat Brown paint. I don't like their nozzle of course, but I do love the paint. It's incredibly durable, it's a great color, it's a wonderful enamel. And that's what I've sprayed this with. So that's all it is. I can go over the top with some silver or other rust colors, whatever it is I wanted to do if I wanted to make it look differently. But I like the Krylon Brown as a base. So what you have on the frame here, let's get the cutting mat out of the way so it's against a lighter background so you can see a little better, are little frets at the top of every fourth row, and then between each fret, a little line that runs all the way across. Really easy to get this stuff out of here. What you're going to do, I generally recommend lengths of about 4 rows. It's part of the reason the frets are across the top, 4 rows apart. So I am going to start by cutting the top and bottom frets for those 4 rows. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll take this one. Actually, I'll cut that one right at the angle there next to the fret so it stays. And then right down that line right here, I'm going to come through. I'm actually just going to press straight all the way down the frame. Super, super thin stuff, so it's going to be easy to cut. One more little spot right there, one little fret I missed. Get my section out of here if it wants to come today. It is pretty grippy stuff because the little spikes on it, the little tines rather, are really sharp and grabby. So you can already see here I've got the start of my frame, and all I have to do is run through each one of those rows with the hobby blade to break up the little frets between them. Tedious but not difficult, and fairly quick, as you can see. I mean, there's not a lot to it. It's really thin brass. I just need to get the blade between them. As you're going down, there's 4 to cut, so you'll hear it when you get them. Pulling it apart slightly, just so I can see where I'm at. And that should do it. Hypothetically, I've gotten all of the frets off of my piece here, so I'm actually going to pull it straight. And this is why I talk about in the promotional stuff for the razor wire, oop, I missed some frets here, about how much you get, because one of these sheets really does produce a staggering amount of very real razor wire. Because, and we'll come to the top camera for this, those 4 rows represent, let me get it just by the ends here, that much. I mean, we're talking several feet, you know, like at least 2 feet worth of razor wire here in that little thing. The other thing I'm going to want is a small tube or paintbrush, just because it's easier to make the coils bigger and harder to make them smaller. So I'm going to make nice tight coils to begin with, and you can really see the detail on the razor wire, unlike the wire wrapped around a wire crap. I mean, this really is short tine razors. So do be careful as you start to wrap it around your tube or your paintbrush handle, because it will grab at you. It is sharp, it can cut. I have not been badly damaged by the razor wire yet, but it has given me a few good scratches. So I am just pulling it tight just across the surface of the handle here. It is grabbing onto my shirt like nothing else, so I'm going to pull that loose. Just using my thumbs to get it reasonably tight across the surface there. Now you'll see pretty quick that 4 rows is probably more than I need too, just because there's so much razor wire. Once you coil it up all nice and small like this, you'll see I get a rather impressive strand of the stuff. tight as it is, we're talking 150 millimeters, even tight like that. So once you've got that, you can cut it to shorter lengths if you decide that the section is too long. You can bunch it up. You can make the coils larger simply by rolling in the opposite direction a bit. So now they're a little looser. You can also make pieces to put that into your base or display. So you can just take some paper clips and bend them over, or just use the curled edge of that. If you really want to get fancy, old school style here, by bending some wire to make proper style clips, that's fairly easy as well. You're going to need a section of wire. In this case, I've just got some 24 gauge silver wire that I picked up probably at Michael's, one of the hobby stores. And you need your rounded pliers. So I'm going to start on the outside bend. Once I have it over, I'm going to switch to the inside one. The reason for that is I want it to be tight along both sides. So this way I'm keeping that same vertical line right here in the back. If I go over the top, let's find a scrap piece so I can show you what not to do. If I go over the top all the way, well, you'll see it starts to get too big in the back. And even if I try to like sneak in and do this and do that, it's just more trouble than it's worth. So I just switch the spots. So again, I figure out where I want my curve. I come down over the front piece. I switch it to the back one. And I pull it all the way up, nice and tight, in line with the vertical post. And I get, voila, a nice little piece for holding my razor wire. So get that on the base, get that on my display, a couple of these at either end of a pole, and we're good to go. Any questions, of course, you know where to find me. It's Mr. Justin at Secret Weapon Miniatures, or you'll find us on Facebook.com/Secret Weapon Miniatures. Thanks for watching, and as always, if there's something you want to see, drop a note. I'll see what I can do. Thanks again.